Hi guys, it's Paul again. Welcome back to my art YouTube tutorial channel. Okay, so today's day 16, it's the 16th of June, day 16 in my work with Anak Moore and Eglise Regeneration Scheme. It's a bit of a different one tonight really. I've started drawing a hole in a wall, graffiti wall, and if you might want to pause this and actually draw the hole, and then I've started filling it with kind of monster characters behind each other, and I'm going to leave all of this, so all of this space here is going to be black, and then these are going to be bright figures, and I might have to go around these with a black biro or something like that, or a black fine liner, just so that they stand out. So what I've done is to make it 3D, look 3D. I've shaded the side that's closest to the edge, and down here I've done some darker shading than this side here. So this is going to look like a broken. So these lines here and here are looking like a crack in the wall. Might do some more cracks later on, or in another video. So I'm not going to colour all of these in tonight, but what I would try and do is pause it, have a go, create your own monster hole in the wall. And then I've just created these figures. Some of them I've found and taken ideas from other people's art, and others I've created myself. So it's just about shading now. So what I'd now do is I'd think about colours, and I'd think about bringing in some pencil crayon really. Try and use two blues. All these colours, try and use two shades of the same colour if you can, so a lighter and darker version. So a light sky blue and a darker blue for the shadow, lighter pink and a darker pink, lighter orange and darker yellowy, darker orange and a light yellowy orange, a couple of different greens. I've got a bit of silver to go over to make them a little bit darker once I've put the colour in. Kind of a lilac-y colour and a purple, and then a red, and I might use this silvery grey over the top of that red just to darken that red off in the corners. Okay, so what I'd start to do is I'd start on this character at the bottom. I'd simply shade in or colour in the character around his eyes. Make sure you're being really careful around his eyes. Some of these characters I'll put eyebrows on as well once I've coloured. I'm going to go right down to this edge here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line like this so that I don't need to colour in this bit. I'm going to do that the darker blue. Okay, and again, try if it's pencil line, try not to smudge it too much. Be careful when you get up to those pencil lines around his eyes. And this line here. Now the tooth's going to stay, there's one tooth on this monster I've created here. The tooth's going to stay white. Now if you do make a mistake and go over it with a little bit of blue, you could always change the colour of that tooth, just as long as it's perhaps a darker shade than the blue that you've gone by mistake gone over it, so don't worry too much about that. Okay, try and go in the same direction if you can. You can tell by the length of this pencil I've used this a lot recently in my artwork. I have to buy some more, I think. Okay, so hope everybody's well anyway. Are you staying safe? Seen lots of your artwork recently. Lots of comments on my YouTube channel on various videos. Had some requests as well. I've had a request of a crocodile, a request of a Batman recently. So I'll try and get onto those, whether I do those at the start of July perhaps, rather than doing them in June. I'm not sure really when I'm going to do those. So we'll see how we feel, see if anybody else has got any more questions or comments. Please put them in the messages section underneath each one of these videos. I'm not going to colour all of this in today. You can colour them in whatever colour you like, and you can be creative with your monster drawings as well. So you could create some of your own. The idea is here is if I've just smudged here, so you want to keep this nice and clean and crisp, this top edge of the hole, okay? And it'll make sense when we shade it all in black, okay, the background. Okay, so this monster now, change into that darker blue, and then I'm just going to amalgamate, mix it into the lighter shade above. You don't want to make it look like shadow. You don't really want to have a definite line between the two. Just be careful towards the bottom here that you don't go over the pencil shading that you've done on the ledge, if you like, the outside edge of this hole in the wall. Okay, so that's what I'd do there. That's all I'd really do. Maybe put a little bit of dark around his eye. Okay, possibly like that. A little bit of darkness maybe underneath his mouth here. So I'm just going over the lighter blue now with this darker blue. But that's about as much as I want to do on him, I think. What I'd then do is go around that creature with the fine liner, and I'd do this as I'm going along. So I wouldn't do, because you get bored of going around these creatures with a fine liner. If you want to buy some of these, you can get them in packs of 10 at the moment on Amazon in the UK for about £5. I'm not sure about the US, how much they'd be. We've got quite a few viewers in the States now. Okay, so I'm sure you could probably get hold of some of these. These are 0.88 they're called, 0.88 fine liners from Stabilo, the company is. And they just, I've used these for a long time now, really good. Okay, so you could then carry on adding detail into this character if you wanted to. A little bit of grey in the top of the tooth, maybe, something like that. A little bit of grey on the inside of the eyes, like this. Okay, nice and light. You could just be really creative. You could even do, I don't know, some eyebrows like this over the top of the blue, like that. You could then put some darker black lines in there over the top if you wanted to. Almost looks like an M&M, that does. Now this character behind it, what you want to really do is to show the contrast. You want a lighter colour behind that darker blue. So I'm going to go for a bit of orange and yellow, I think, yellowy orange. So again, lighter shade where he's peeping out from the corner of this hole, and then you want darker or into the orange. You want darker as he's tucked away underneath this, onto this hole here. And what we're going to do is this will go over all that with orange now in the corner. You could do this two ways, like I've done here with a line and then just shade in below with a darker colour, or you could then go over that with a different or a darker shade of the same colour. Okay, I've already put an eyebrow in there. One eyebrow because he's got one eye. Okay, created a few monsters with 3 eyes, one down here with 3 eyes. There's a monster here with no eyes. Well, he's got eyes, but he's not got pupils, should I say. So, inside of this, yellow again. Okay, and then we're going to have a white eye there. So, orange now. Orange in the darker sides of this here. Okay. So we're going to go down this edge here because that would be casting shadow the inside of this hole on this character. Okay. So we've got that darker orange there over the top. I might even put a little bit of grey in the corner where it's really dark. Like this, okay. There you go. And then again, I'm going to go, this is less to do on this one, go around with a fine liner here. Okay, going to go around this eye. Be nice and careful around this eye here. Inside curve. Round the eye there, the pupil. Don't forget about the mouth. Like that. Okay, a little bit of yellow in here around the mouth. There we are. And that's about it on that one. So what you want to do is to try and make sure that you've got a lighter and darker character next to each other. So if that's lighter, I'd go darker again with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go red there. So like a pinkish, it's quite a bright red this is. So I'm going, this is already quite firm colour, like, well, quite dark shade of red. You could have gone much lighter red there, almost into the pinks. It's quite a bright, luminous red this is. So like a pillbox red. So we'll go around this eye nice and carefully. Again, if you make a mistake and go into that white bit of the eye, you could always change the colour of the eye. I mean, these have been created from scratch, so you could just, if you're creating them yourself or even copying off me, you could just change the colour. You could have bloodshot eyes, some red lines through the eyes maybe, something like that. Okay, again, this is a little bit awkward now because you don't want to be going over the lines here. It's quite small. Okay, I've done this on an A3 pad and it's still quite tucked in, quite small. Okay, this idea is from somebody else's graffiti work actually. It's not the outside hole in the wall. It's been done on a wall in the USA somewhere. I think it was New York by a graffiti artist, but he put different characters inside, breaking through the wall. So I've just kind of stolen that idea. The best art is when you're magpieing, you steal good ideas from other people. So I've used that idea and then just started to create my own characters through this wall. Okay, so now you want, again, black around the outside. This monster's a little bit sad, not sure what's going on, I think, a bit like me right now. Here we go. So up and round the outside edge, and there we are. So in order to make that darker, I would then go over it with a bit of grey, or you could go over it with a pencil. Okay, so you're darkening this inside by the edge here, by the lip of this wall. Okay, and then this character would probably be casting his shadow as well on this character here, be casting his shadow here, so you can make sure that's a bit darker there as well. Okay, so that looks really good. The only thing I've missed here is the red on the inside of this here. I'm just going to suggest a bit of colour there. I'm not going to do it all, a little bit white there. That's it, not quite like that. Okay, and you can just carry on. I don't think I really need to be showing you any more than that this evening. If you could pause the video and then draw you could have a wall whatever shape you wanted to. What you want to do to try and make it 3D is to bring in these ledges, if you like, and then in another video I'll have coloured this black in so you can really see where the characters are and where the darkness is. So for example, that there, and there's a little bit of black here. I'd probably use pencil crayon for all of this now, really, because there's too much to do with a fine liner. I might use pencil crayon. You could use felt tip if you wanted to. Okay, but it really does make the characters stand out if first of all you go around them with a fine liner, and second, if you pick out all of this black, once you've done your colours, you then want to, what I do is I cover all this up with a separate piece of like printer paper or something, so I didn't smudge it, and I just carefully go over this black area all in the same direction if you can, leaving these bits white and grey. Notice I've just put a little bit of grey on the outside of these ledges here, okay, and then I might bring the wall down here, and I'll do some kind of dirty marks down the wall so this looks like a wall, and then over here I'm going to create some more characters later on, graffiti characters. Okay, so I'm going to show you one now that is done in graffiti on a wall, and it is really quite easy to do. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I would do that in graffiti. So we're going to start to make graffiti on the wall on the outside of this drawing. Okay, and this is simply a fish. All right, so I'm going to grab my pencil, HB pencil, and I'm going to draw the fish in this area here. Okay, so hopefully you can see this now. So this graffiti fish is like this. Okay, so we've got two lines like this, and we've got another line like this. It's all really thin triangle. Okay, so there's the head of the fish. Alright, we'll do a little curve here. We're going to go over all this with a fine liner in a minute. Okay, now from here we're going to go up and across, and it's going to go almost straight down. It's a slight curve on it. Okay, and then this is going to carry on to there. Alright, now hopefully you can still see this on the camera. Just checking you can, not moving the paper. From here, it's going to go up to there. Okay, now we've got a couple of fins there, and then we've got the tail fin, which goes like this, goes like this. This is really easy to do. This graffiti artist has done this in just a black spray paint spray can. Obviously we're not doing it in spray can. Now the good thing about this now is that's almost done. Big eye here like that. Okay, we've got a fin inside here which is like this, goes right up and it goes across like that. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Fine liner now. Actually, I might use a pencil crayon for this. It might be a bit better because you can get thicker lines with a pencil crayon than you can with a fine liner. You might want to do this with a felt tip. I mean, you could use a Sharpie if you wanted to, if you're good with Sharpies. The only thing with Sharpies is just be careful it doesn't get on your clothes. It won't come off very well. If you're young, I'd probably use, if you're quite young, I'd probably use either a felt tip or just go around with a pencil crayon like I'm going around. Okay, some of these are thicker than others. Okay, so we've got a nice curve here, which is like the gill of the fish. We need to go around this. Nice and thick. Okay, nice and thick here. If it's okay if you're thicker in certain places, that's what the graffiti artists do. Don't worry too much about the thickness of your lines. I think if you're going to do really thick lines, you'd have to make it quite thick all the way round. So I've done quite a thin line there. I'd probably go a bit thicker here. Okay, a bit thicker there. and a bit thicker in the tail here, around the tail and the back of the fish's body. Okay. So this is what I'd probably finish doing like this. Just make sure you fill that bit in there. And then we're nice and thick around this back edge here as well, okay? So this is kind of graffiti style. I'm going to put another fin there actually. A tiny little fin there, okay. And some of these you can curve a little bit on the inside. Some of these lines. There we are. So you curve this one here. You'd be able to curve this one here. And you'd want a thicker line here. So hopefully you can see that really good. And then simply, what you'd then do is, I'm going to grab a silver, but you guys could do this with another colour if you want. You're going to put a few kind of silvery lines on here, on the inside. The graffiti artist done this in whites, but because it's on white paper, on the graffiti here, he's done this on a grey wall. So we'll do this in grey instead on a white background. If you've got grey paper, you do it in white. Okay, so he's got some kind of bubbles going on to suggest it's a fish, I suppose. Okay, and he's got a patch of grey here, and then he's got another one coming in here. He's got a small one here and a dot. Okay, he's got a couple down in this area as well, like that, and then he's got one in here. It's quite a big one. He's got one across here like this, and he's got one here like this. Okay, if you want to then start messing about with kind of spray, like spray effects, if you've got a really fine pen, you could start kind of doing this kind of thing to make it look like it's dripped on the wall, off the paint's kind of dripped. That would probably look quite good if you did something like this, like that. Yeah. So I might do a fine line some of these down the wall here. And that's about it, guys. Okay, so you might want to have a go at doing your own kind of graffiti style fish, like I've done. So that's the kind of art I'm going to put around this. I'm going to make it look a little bit more graffiti-like as well, wall-like. I could use a grey here, and I could go down to make a crack all the way down like this. Okay, and I continue that crack up the page like that. Okay, I might put another one in like that. Okay, and I'd continue it. Now I continue it through to make it look like the drawing's been done over the top of the cracks. Open some of these cracks up, so I just darken these edges here. Just open a few of these cracks up slightly. Okay, and that's how I make the art look like it was on a wall. So if you miss this if you miss this out, it'll look like the cracks have come after. But obviously, if you're trying to make a wall, make it look like a graffitied wall, then you'd want the lines going through the animal, because then it looks like it's been sprayed over the top of the wall. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, that was day 16, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.